Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a founder or a technical leader, you probably know the drill. You finally land that massive enterprise deal, which is awesome. But then there's a catch. They need to see your SOC 2 report. Suddenly, you're thrown into this completely confusing landscape of vendors. Well, today we're cutting right through the marketing noise to bring you a definitive, totally no-nonsense buyer's guide to the top SOC 2 compliance companies for 2026. We're going to show you exactly what these companies do, what they absolutely don't do, and how to make the right choice for your business.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll unpack what we call the SOC 2 trap. Then, we'll look at the great divide between platforms and consultants. After that, we'll break down the top 5 vendors side by side, reveal the unvarnished real costs of SOC 2, and finally, give you a concrete framework for making your decision. All right, Section 1, the SOC trap, or why software just isn't enough.
You know, when panic sets in over a looming compliance deadline, founders often rush out to buy an automation platform simply because that's what everyone in their network recommends. But there is a massive misconception about what that software actually does. As our source material brilliantly points out, most compliance companies sell software, and software does not design security controls. Buying a software tool does not magically make you audit-ready. The software is literally just the messenger. It can't fix the underlying security gaps in your business. Here is the painful reality so many companies face. Picture this. You spend 12 grand on a platform like Vanta or Drata. You eagerly connect your AWS account, your HR system, your code repositories, and suddenly the entire dashboard just lights up red. The software is screaming at you that your IAM roles are over-permissioned and your logging is turned off. But the platform, it won't fix it for you. So the real question lands, who on your team actually knows how to remediate all of this? Before we go any further, we really need to draw a hard line here. SOC 2 is not a certification you just purchase from a vendor. It's an attestation. This means it's an audit performed exclusively by a licensed CPA firm against the AICPA Trust Services criteria. Any vendor claiming they can quote-unquote certify you is completely misrepresenting the entire framework. Vendors get you ready, CPAs do the actual auditing. Moving on to Section 2. Platforms versus consultants, the great divide. To make this complex ecosystem digestible before you spend a single dollar, you have to understand the difference between monitoring and remediating. It's absolutely crucial. Automation platforms are basically evidence collection machines. They monitor your infrastructure and automatically pull logs. Consultants, on the other hand, do the heavy lifting. They design the controls your business actually needs, write policies that match how your team really works, and they physically fix the security gaps. Platforms automate the collection of proof, while consultants create the security controls worth proving. Confuse the two, and you just end up with a very polished inventory of your own problems. Section 3. Top vendors compared. Here are 5 companies you should seriously consider. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this impartial, honest breakdown of the top players for 2026. It shows you exactly what they do and who should hire them. And the starkest contrast here? It lies in who actually designs your controls. Atlant Security really stands out as a true consultant. They actually design and fix your controls for a fixed price. The other 4 on the list, Vanta, Secureframe, StrikeGraph, and Drata, are subscription-based platforms that simply monitor your environment without designing or fixing those underlying controls for you. Let's look a little closer at Atlant Security, which definitely tops the list for hands-on, fixed-price audit readiness. Because they are a consulting firm, they start with a gap assessment and do what literally no platform will touch: implementing controls with your team, hardening your cloud, and preparing the exact evidence the auditor wants. If you don't have a dedicated security lead, they get you audit ready in just 23 working days for a fixed upfront price. This is incredibly valuable, especially when you're facing a tight deadline. As for the platforms, look, they're excellent at what they do. Vanta is the market leader and the go-to default for fast, automated evidence collection. Secureframe offers a similar product, but differentiates by providing hands-on compliance guidance and support alongside the software. Drata is a near equivalent to Vanta, but it really shines at scale, especially if you're managing multiple frameworks at once. Finally, StrikeGraph takes a slightly different approach, allowing you to build highly flexible, custom controls. That's great if you have a non-standard environment, provided you actually have the expertise to know what to build.
Okay, Section 4, real SOC costs. Time for some unvarnished pricing.
Vendors in this space are notoriously allergic to publishing their prices, so consider this some insider intel. $20,000 to $55,000. Yeah, that is the realistic total cost for your first year of SOC 2. I know that might cause a bit of sticker shock for budget-conscious founders, but it's so important to understand that this number includes everything. We're talking both the readiness preparation and the actual audit performed by the CPA firm.
Let's actually break those costs down line by line. An automation platform is going to run you about $7,500 to $25,000 a year, and remember, that recurs annually. Consultant readiness is a one-time fixed fee, typically between $2,800 and $15,000. Then you have the CPA audit itself. A Type 1 audit, which is basically a point-in-time snapshot, costs $15,000 to $30,000. A Type 2 audit, which covers a 3 to 12-month observation period to prove you maintain those controls over time, runs $25,000 to $50,000. And remember, the audit fee goes to the CPA no matter what, so you absolutely have to budget for it separately.
But honestly, here is the absolute most important thing on the subject of money: the invisible cost. The most expensive path isn't hiring a consultant. It's buying a platform, staring at a red dashboard for 6 months because nobody on your team knows how to fix the findings, and ultimately losing the enterprise deal that motivated the project in the first place. That failure dwarfs literally every other number we just looked at.
Finally, Section 5, making your decision. How to actually choose. So the crucial point is, now that you understand the trap and the costs, your internal resources dictate your strategy. A platform alone is totally enough if you have a strong internal security owner, like a CISO or technical founder, and your controls mostly exist already. In that case, your problem is just evidence collection. But if nobody on the team owns security, your controls aren't designed yet, or you have a strict deadline, you need a consultant-first approach. In fact, the most durable setup is often hiring a consultant to get your compliance and then using a platform to keep you that way. When you are interviewing vendors, you need to demand actual outcomes by asking these 6 exact questions. 1. Do they fix security problems or just flag them? 2. Do they understand your actual specific infrastructure? 3. Will they help you build and prove policies? 4. Do they know what your auditor will ask during fieldwork? 5. Are they useful after the first report is issued? And 6. Is their pricing fixed and completely transparent? Oh, and there are 2 massive red flags that should cause you to end a conversation immediately. First, like we covered, if a vendor promises to certify you, walk away. Only CPAs can do that. Second, if a vendor quotes you a price without asking a single question about your infrastructure, headcount, or data flows, run. Scoping SOC 2 without understanding your environment is a guaranteed way to destroy your budget and miss your deadlines. I want to leave you with a single provocative question to determine your entire buying strategy. Does your company already have someone who can design security controls? If yes, a platform is great. If no, you really need to find a partner who will actually build your foundation for you. Thanks for joining us on this explainer. Now go conquer your compliance journey with absolute confidence.